Alright guys, so I've been looking into getting a new phone, right? You know, my nice trusty one is about to fall apart anytime soon, eh? So I want this one here, nice, eh? Silver. I know some of you wrote, maybe I should get rose gold. It doesn't do it for me, it doesn't do it for me. It's gotta be the silver one. It's gotta be the silver one. Change, back to silver. Alright, now I got three choices, right? 16, 64, 128. Now which one should I get? Which one is a good deal? Which one is a good deal? So I was thinking, you know, maybe this is best if we make this into an activity, because math, why don't we take a look at iPhone using this? So the question is, how much should the 128 gigabyte phone cost? Well, what about 256? What about any gigabytes? How much should it cost? Like, am I getting ripped off by Apple? So the idea is to think of the iPhone as two parts, right? The phone without the memory and the phone with just the memory itself, so no phone, all right? So two parts, phone with the memory and the memory itself. So how do I go about doing that? Well, I have to always find how much 1 gigabyte costs, right? Like 1 unit of whatever it is. So here we go. What's the price for upgrade from 16 to 64? Well, it used to be, how much is it here? $899, right? And the upgrade goes to $1,029. So what's the difference? What's the price difference? Well, the price difference, that's straightforward, right? So that's just the higher price and what you would have paid anyway, right? So that's the difference, price difference, so 130. So that's the upgrade from 16 to 64 gigs. Price is 130. So 130 gigs, $130 gets you an upgrade from 16 to 64. That's cool. But how much are you paying per gigabyte? You always want to know the unit price, right? This also is called the rate of change, all right? So the upgrade gives you how much? 64? No. From 16 to 64 is only 48 gigabytes, right? So you're only paying for 48. You're not paying for 64. You're paying for the difference from 16 to 64, right? The difference is 48 gigabytes. So 48 gigabytes costs 130. How much does 1 gigabyte cost? $2.71. $2.71. Why? 48 gigabytes costs 130. 1 gigabyte would be 1/48 of that. Alright, so what's the price of 1 gigabyte? Only $261. What about 16 gigabytes? That's this guy, right? This guy has the phone without memory and 16 gigabytes worth of memory, right? So how much does the memory cost? Oh, the memory cost 1 gigabyte is $271. 16 would be 43. What? You know, most of the phone cost is not the memory. Not the memory. So 16 gigabytes costs $43.36. So now that you know how much the memory costs, you can find out the cost of the phone without memory, right? So the phone itself costs, with the memory, $899, but the memory is only 43, so you take that away. Subtract that, phone without memory, $855.64. $855.64. So that's the phone without the memory. You're paying for the screen, you're paying for the battery, you're paying for the camera, whatever else is in the phone, right? Alright, now we want to find out 128 gigabytes. What's the price of the 128 gigabytes? Well, 1 gigabyte costs $271, so 128 gigabytes, well, you know, 128 times that, right? So you get $346.88. Alright, what's the price of the phone with the 128 gigabyte memory?
Mrs. Watson Jeremiah, please contact the main office.
Okay. So what's the price of the phone with 128 gigabytes of memory? Well, without memory, it costs $855.64, right? And you calculate the cost of the memory itself, well, that's about $300. 128 gigabytes costs $346.88, right? So together, you're paying for the phone without memory and the memory separately, $1,202.52. That's what it would cost. All right. So now we set up an equation, because you always have to find an equation to solve things for you. If you're able to solve for equations, you can do everything. So let's do it. Give the equation for the cost of the phone with X gigabytes of memory. All right. So cost is, well, the part without the memory, and how much memory, right? 271 per gigabyte. And how many gigabytes? Well, we don't know, because we said X. So 271 times x. So for example, if you want to find out 256 gigabytes of memory, how much that should cost, it would be what the phone cost without the memory. Phone cost without memory is 855.64. With the memory now, 271, sorry, let me say it again, 271 times 256, because 271 for each gigabyte, right? 256 gigabytes, and then you multiply that, 271 times 256 plus 855.64 gives you 1549.40. So that's the price of the phone. If they sell one with 256 memory, that's probably what it should cost, right? 1549.40. Yeah, that's a nice number. All right, so now we're going to fill in the table of value. How are we going to do that? Well, what you do is really just put this equation, you change the x to the phone memory, right? Does it make sense when you have 0 gigs that it's 855.64, the initial value? Yeah, because, well, the cost without memory, that's what it is, right? Well, you can think of it this way too. 271 times 0, 271 times 0 is just 0, right? So the cost is just the phone itself. All right, now you're going to do that, just put it in the equation. Do that one by one. One by one. Yes, it's a lot of work, but you had the time to do it. Okay, now we're going to make the graph. How are we going to make the graph? Well, you see this, we start with 0. Okay, so start with 0 here. Calculate the cost of phone. What's the other axis? Calculate cost of phone is here. Then the other axis must be phone memory in GB. So let's put in here phone memory in GB. Phone memory in GB. All right, so it goes from 0 to 1,000. So let's count how many boxes are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 boxes. 14 boxes. You want to go to 1,000, so maybe 100 each would be good. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1,000. Perfect. All right, cost of the phone, it goes up until 3,500. Let's see how many boxes there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14. That's an interesting number. Well, let's see. Let's just kind of guess. If we do 100, is it going to give you enough? 100 times 14 is 100 times 14 is 1,400, right? 1,400 is not enough. What about 200 times 14? 200 times 14 is 2,800. It's still not enough. Let's try 500. Yeah, 500 is going to be enough for sure. So that means 500, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and 4,000. Good. That's enough for sure. 4,000 is already more than 3565, right? Good. All right, so phone memory at 0 is 855.64. So that's the initial value. Somewhere here, it's good enough. Right? 1, 2, 3. Well, they're all bunched up together. So maybe we'll go to the 100. 1,000. What's the value for 100? 100 gives you 1126.64. So 1126.64 maybe here. All right. 200 gives you 1397.64. All right. 200. So maybe here. All right. So how am I doing this? So this is 1,000, 2,000. Midway is 1,500, right? 1397 is about 1,400, so it's a little bit less. That's all. You don't have to be, exactly. You just have to be reasonably correct. All right, let's now skip to 500 and 1,000. 500 is 2,210, 2,200. So 2,200 maybe here. All right, 1,000. 3565.64. 3565. All right, so 3500 is here. 3565 is a little higher than that, so maybe here. All right, make sure you connect the dots. There you go. Beautiful. Okay. Finally, how many gigabytes can you put in your phone if you have $2,000? Well, you got to solve the equation. If you have $2,000, you got to pay for the phone without the memory, and then you got to pay for the memory. So first you pay for the memory. So 2,000, you got to pay for that. Well, after paying for that, how much you have left? Subtract that over. Subtract that out, so you get 1144.36. And you got to pay for 2.71 per gigabyte, right? So how many times can you pay for that? Well, the opposite operation is divide. So x is this 1144.36, which is how much you have left after paying for the phone itself, divided by the cost per gigabyte, gives you 442.27. So you can buy 442.27 gigabytes, but
Can Caitlin Ferguson please come to the office? Caitlin Ferguson?
so 442.27, the question is how many gigabytes, so you got to round to 422 gigabytes after paying for the phone, and that's it.